Far away, in thick forests and misty hills, there was a small village. Its houses were simple, made of clay and thatched roofs. The villagers went about their lives quietly. In this village lived a little girl named Amaka. She was just 10 years old, small and delicate, but with a heart so big it seemed to glow in the darkness. While other children ran and played, Amaka spent her days helping her mother fetch water from the stream, carrying bundles of firewood, and feeding the stray animals that no one else cared about. Her family was poor and their home was small, but Amaka never complained. She believed that kindness was the greatest treasure a person could have, more valuable than gold, more powerful than any magic in the forest. One hot afternoon, Amaka heard a strange sound. At first it was soft, almost like a hiss but filled with pain. Her curiosity overcame her fear. She followed the sound, stepping carefully over roots and stones, until she saw it. Beneath a fallen log, in the tall grass, lay a massive cobra. Its scales shimmered like polished bronze, but its body was twisted and wounded, barely moved. Its eyes, however, fixed on her with a strange intelligence. Villager in the distance shouting, "Kill it! Kill it before it bites someone." Amaka froze. She knew the villagers were right. Most people would run, grab a stick or set fire. But when she looked into the snake's eyes, she didn't see anger. She saw pain. And something else. A silent plea for help. "No, I won't let you die. I can help you." She knelt carefully, rolled the log just enough to free the cobra, and brought it water in a small clay cup. Her hands trembled, but she didn't let fear stop her. She whispered softly to the snake, "It's okay. You're safe now." And slowly, the massive serpent slithered away into the shadowy forest, alive. Little did Amaka know. That single act of mercy had been watched by forces older than her village. Forces that would not forget her kindness. When Amaka returned home, her neighbors saw the snake slither away. Some laughed. Some were furious. "Ha! The girl thinks she can play with spirits. Mark my words, she will bring disaster to the village," said Kamala, a jealous neighbor. But Amaka only smiled softly. She did not understand all the magic at work yet. She only knew that she had done the right thing. And sometimes, that is enough to change destiny. That night, Amaka dreamt of the cobra. But it was not the same. Its scales shone like molten gold. Its eyes glowed like stars. And it spoke, not with words she understood, but with feelings deep and powerful. When Amaka woke up, the forest outside glimmered with dew, and her small farm, which had been dry and dusty for months, was suddenly lush. The villagers noticed this miracle, and whispers began, about the little girl who had touched the spirit of the forest. Amaka's mother whispered, "Amaka, did you do this? What have you done?" "I only helped the cobra. That's all. I didn't do anything." Some cheered her courage. Others scowled with envy. But deep in the shadows, Kamala was planning something. Something that would test not just Amaka's courage, but the power of mercy itself. His farm had failed for 2 seasons. His debts were deep, his pride deeper. And as he watched Amaka's family smile under the sun, something began to coil inside him. A slow, cold envy. He spat on the ground and muttered, "A child saves a snake, and now her ground brings food. I've prayed, I've worked. Yet the spirits ignore me." That night he couldn't sleep. The wind hissed softly through the cracks of his hut, and each sound reminded him of that serpent, the one she saved. Then a thought came into his mind. Dangerous one. What if the snake wasn't a blessing, but a guardian? And what if its cave hides what they call fortune? His heart pounded. He sat up. Outside, the moon was full, pale and watchful. He walked to the center of the village and found other men, farmers like him, poor and desperate. "Brothers," he whispered, "do you want to remain beggars while a little girl feasts? I saw the trail where the cobra vanished. It leads to the old hill, the one with carvings. What if treasure lies there?" One of the men hesitated. Kamala, the elders say that hill is sacred. Sacred, he snapped. Sacred doesn't feed our children. If a child can walk among spirits and live, then so can we. They exchanged uneasy glances. Fear battled hunger in their eyes. And hunger won. That night, the men crept into the forest with oil lamps and tools. The forest was silent. Too silent. Even the crickets refused to sing. They moved gently towards an ancient cave. The men were at the mouth of the ancient cave, their torches trembling in the wind. The carvings glowed faintly under the moonlight. Serpents coiled around suns and moons, their eyes made of tiny crystal stones. From deep inside came a sound, like a heartbeat buried under stone. Kamala raised his lamp higher. "We are already here," he whispered. "If there is power, we claim it tonight." They reached a vast chamber, round, glowing faintly with pale green light. At the center stood a stone altar, covered in snake carvings. And on that altar lay what looked like a coiled skeleton. Massive, ancient, its bones smooth as marble, its skull crowned with gold patterns. The men stared in awe. "Is that a serpent's remains?" one asked, his voice shaking. Kamala stepped closer, eyes wide with hunger. "No. It's a sign of power. If the child gained fortune by helping one snake, imagine what we'll gain from the bones of their god." He raised his machete and struck the altar. The sound was deafening, like thunder in a tunnel. Dust fell from the ceiling in shimmering trails. Then the bones began to move. At first it was just a rattle, soft, uncertain. Then a long, slow hiss that froze every man in place. The green light grew brighter, flooding the cave, until the shadows themselves seemed to twist and come alive. The men fell to their knees, screaming. The torches went out one by one, swallowed by the light. Kamala tried to run, but the ground beneath him rippled like water. He turned and saw the glowing eyes of the cobra spirit forming from light and dust, its scales shimmering like glass, its voice echoing through his chest. "The child gave life where others would take it. You take where others would give. The earth remembers both." The spirit's tail coiled around the altar, gentle but unstoppable. Kamala dropped his machete and begged, "Please, forgive us. We only wanted." The chamber shook violently. The men screamed as the floor split beneath them, swallowing the torches, the tools, the greed. And then silence. Only the echo of the spirit's hiss remained, sliding up through the trees into the night sky. That night, the air in the village changed. It was no longer warm and peaceful. By morning, the sun refused to shine. Thick fog covered the village. The people came out one by one, afraid to speak. Then the screams began. Cows and goats lay dead in their pens. The river had turned the color of ash. And the crops that once glowed green were now black and dry, as if fire had passed through during the night. The elders gathered quickly. They burned incense and prayed, but even the smoke rose slowly, heavy, unwilling to go up. "This is punishment," one old woman cried. "Someone has angered the spirit of the forest." People looked around, confused and frightened. Then one man pointed toward Amaka's home. "It started when she saved that snake." Amaka's mother stepped forward. "My child showed mercy. She did no wrong." Villagers shouted. "She brought the curse. That snake spirit followed her." They threw stones at the hut. Amaka clung to her mother, crying, "Mama, I didn't do anything bad. I just helped it." "I know, my child," her mother whispered, tears falling. The chief of the village stepped out, holding his staff. "Take them out of the village until the curse is gone," he said coldly. As the sun went down, Amaka and her mother walked away. Barefoot, tired, carrying nothing but a small basket of food. Amaka looked back one last time. The smoke from the village rose high into the sky, twisting like a serpent made of shadow. They reached the edge of the forest and sat by the riverbank. The wind became still. Even the insects went quiet. Amaka looked at her reflection in the water, but instead of her face, she saw a faint golden glow beneath the surface. Then she heard a soft voice, calm and deep. "Do not be afraid, little one. The earth remembers kindness." Amaka gasped, looking around. There was no one there, only ripples on the water, and a feeling that something ancient was watching over her. Night had fallen over the forest. Amaka and her mother had walked far from the village. Amaka was tired, hungry, and scared. Her heart ached as she thought of the villagers who had blamed her. "Mama, why are they so angry?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I only wanted to help the snake." Amaka looked up at the dark sky. She whispered into the night, "Please, if you are out there, I only wanted to help. Please forgive them. And help me save the village." The forest was still. For a moment, it seemed as if nothing would answer her plea. Then a soft rustle. The shadows on the ground moved in a shape she could not understand. And there it appeared, a giant cobra, larger than any she had ever seen. Its scales shimmered like gold and emerald. Its eyes glowed softly, watching her every move. Amaka froze. Fear clutched her heart. It's coming for me," she whispered. But the snake did not strike. It lowered its head slowly, letting her see it clearly. Then it hissed, not like a snake but like a voice, deep and calm. "Child of mercy. You have saved life when others would not. Do not fear me. I come to repay kindness." Amaka's eyes filled with tears. You remember me?" she asked. "I was afraid I failed. Afraid I brought the curse on everyone." The cobra coiled gently around her feet. Its golden eyes glowed warmer, softer. "The curse is not yours, little one. It is for those who take without respect. The village suffers because greed and fear have disturbed the balance. You can help restore it, if you are brave." Amaka nodded, shivering. "I will do anything. Tell me what I must do." The cobra lifted its head, and the forest seemed to lean closer. "Go to the village at first light. Speak with truth. Show courage and kindness. And the earth will listen." For the first time since leaving her home, Amaka felt hope. The fear in her heart was still there, but now it was joined by a quiet strength. As the first light of dawn touched the forest, Amaka and the cobra moved toward the village. The fog that had blanketed the houses slowly lifted, but a heavy silence remained. Amaka's heart was steady. She knew she had to face the villagers, the same people who had chased her away. The cobra followed behind, its golden scales shimmering in the morning sun. It was silent, but its presence made the forest seem alive, watching. When they reached the village square, the villagers were already awake. Their faces were pale. Fear still clung to them like morning mist. The animals were quiet. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Amaka stepped forward. "Please," she called softly. "I did not cause the curse. I only helped a dying snake. The spirits are angry because some of us took what we should not have." Kamala and the men who went to the cave stood frozen. Their eyes widened as the cobra slowly slithered toward them. Did not strike, but it coiled around the square, glowing softly. "You took without respect," the cobra hissed in a deep, echoing voice. "You disturbed what was sacred. Now you must see the result of your greed." The ground shook beneath their feet. The crops they had trampled were black and withered. Water puddles turned cloudy. The villagers gasped. "It is the curse," someone cried. "It is because of us." Amaka stepped forward bravely. "You can change it," she said. "Respect life. Be kind. Apologize to the earth and the spirits. Only then will the curse end." Some villagers, ashamed, fell to their knees. They promised to make amends. The cobra lifted its head toward the sky. Golden light poured from its scales, touching the villagers, the fields, and the river. The blackened crops turned green again. The water sparkled. The wind carried a soft, joyful hiss. Kamala fell to his knees, tears running down his face. "I was wrong," he whispered. "I let greed blind me. Forgive me." The cobra slowly disappeared into the forest. A gentle rustle of leaves followed it, a sign that the spirit had returned to watch over them. Amaka smiled. She felt warmth in her heart. The village had been saved, not by fear but by courage, kindness and respect. Years passed, but the story of Amaka and the golden cobra was never forgotten in the village. The villagers learned to live with respect for the forest and all living creatures. The village became peaceful and prosperous. And so, the girl who saved a dying cobra became a legend. Not because she was strong, but because her heart was pure. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.